Welcome to the O'Connor Elder Law channel. I'm your host, Melissa O'Connor. I'm a Florida-based elder law attorney who does estate planning focusing on long-term care needs, commonly referred to as Medicaid planning, and I do probate, and I do it well. Today I wanted to talk to you about how we address excess income in anticipation of a Medicaid application by using a qualified income trust. But before I do, I'll invite you to join me for a free strategy session at eldermeeting.com if you want to talk about this or any other topic with me. Again, eldermeeting.com. Okay, so I have clients come into my office routinely who have just slightly more income than is allowed for Medicaid's purposes. So there is a monthly cap of $2,350 in Florida for the year 2020 that applicants and recipients of Medicaid are allowed to have. And many times people are just at that threshold, or they think that they're under the threshold, and then when we take a closer look at their income and assets, they are slightly over. But not to worry, there is a tool that we can use to help facilitate the movement of money such that you can still qualify for Medicaid, and that's using a qualified income trust. So just as a hypothetical for purposes of this video, to maintain all confidentiality, but if a person had two different streams of income, say they have $1,100 from Social Security and $1,200 from a pension plan. So they look as though that they're slightly under the cap, right, of $2,350 because they're at $2,300. So like, oh great, I'm just under the cap. I should be able to cruise right into this Medicaid application. But because they're thinking that they have too much assets because they have another $230,000 in an IRA. And so they're thinking, oh, I have too much assets. But in reality, when after meeting with me, I asked them a question, your IRA, given your age, do you take the required minimum distribution? And usually they say, yes, I have to take the required minimum distribution at this time, but otherwise I just let it sit there and grow. I don't want to touch that money. I just rather live off of my income. And so then I say, oh, okay, well, what's your required minimum distribution? And usually it's somewhere based off that amount and their age. It might be like $9,000 that they take as a lump sum one time a year. But for purposes of Medicaid, we don't want to have a lump sum RMD at the end of the year. It's better to take that as a monthly distribution. So if we take the $9,000 and we divide it by 12 and we take our RMD spread out over time, over the 12 months, we are slightly over the income stream, the income amount that is permissible to qualify for Medicaid. But what's wonderful is as long as that IRA is in the payout status, meaning you're taking the RMD, the required minimum distribution, it's considered income and not an asset. So we don't need to liquidate that asset. It is not counted as an asset by Medicaid. Rather, the $9,000 that you receive annually is counted as an income. So that's where our qualified income trust comes into play, because now we have just slightly too much money to be able to qualify for Medicaid. But if we take that excess money and place it into this qualified income trust, now we meet the income requirements. And you think, but that makes no sense. Why? There's a Medicaid rule that allows you to have monies in this qualified income trust. And what the Department of Children and Families is going to do is when they're going to look at that monies as well when they calculate your patient responsibility. So if you are in a institutional care facility or nursing home, you will have a patient responsibility. It is usually your income plus whatever amounts you have each month in your qualified income trust, less the $35 allowance that you're allowed to keep for personal like getting your hair done and your nails done. They think that you can live off $35 a month, according to the government. That amount would be your patient responsibility. But many times, your nursing facility is much, much more. So for example, if your nursing facility costs $10,000 a month, and you were this hypothetical client that had the pension and the Social Security and that the income from the required minimum distributions, then you were looking at paying $3,050 a month to your nursing facility and Medicaid picking up the rest to bring it to your $10,000. So, and even as the facility's cost of care increases, your patient responsibility will remain the same, and Medicaid will be picking up the balance along those times. And the beautiful thing is that the client that has the money in the IRA, it sits there still in the IRA and it only gets reduced by the required minimum distribution, and her heirs can be able to have that upon her passing. That's her legacy to them. And the monies that are left in the qualified income trust, if there's any monies at the end of the month that you pass away, that will then go to the state. So that's why we keep it very low. We only keep just the excess income in there, and we don't take more than the required minimum distribution because that would make no fiscal sense. I hope that this information has been helpful to you. If it has, I ask that you like and share with others. And if you want to learn more about qualified income trusts or other Medicaid planning tools, feel free to schedule a strategy session with me at eldermeeting.com. Thank you.